We're starting this video off with a few of his phenomenal highlights from his debut season in the Big Three Basketball League. He sure did put on quite the show for the fans in the crowd here.
A foul called on Quintel Woods.
No look. Arenas. Yes!
Gilbert Arenas, that was a on-time, on-target pass.
For the win. Gilbert Arenas knocks it down. Game over in Birmingham.
I mean, how do you stop a player like this? Arenas was just constantly getting right to his spot and knocking down jumpers like it was nothing. And that's not the only thing he made look easy. This next one shows Arenas getting into a full-blown three-point shootout against Tracy McGrady during a Houston relief game in 2005. It didn't seem to matter what was going on around him. One of them seemed to be knocking down a big shot. Take a look.
Chris Paul. 23,000 of them. They got a team here already. Do it like the Lakers. Somebody's got to do it at the last minute. Hey, the Hawks used to play games in the New Orleans crowd. Maybe you get a full building right.
The score might have been a little bit lopsided, but that didn't stop these guys from letting it fly. Gilbert was just one of those players who started to completely take over when he got hot. Just watch as he completely erupts on the court here. The dude dropped a whopping 37 points in this particular game, doing everything asked of him on the court. Driving to the rim, taking the jump shot, passing the basketball, there was nothing holding him back that night. Sadly, not everything from Arenas' career, though, has been positive. He's had to overcome a lot of adversity through his career, but this was absolutely one of the worst points. Take a look.
Gerald Wallace. Unbelievable.
To the basket hard here, and he just lands.
Right in the beginning of the game, Arenas just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He suffered a bad knee injury that would devastate him in the following years. He wasn't on offense, he wasn't fouling anybody, he simply came to box his defender out and got rolled up on by a stumbling offensive player. Thankfully, though, his career wasn't all bad news. We can't forget about the time he put on a show against the Lob City Clippers back in the 2012 playoffs. Take a look as he cruised his way through the entire defense to put in this bucket.
And now the Grizzlies in position to match their biggest lead of the game, and Gilbert Arenas does it. A 20-point lead now.
You know you put on a good move when you get somebody to jump up a few steps behind you. That's what I call a nasty pump fake. You might as well stick with this same game, though, in the playoffs. This time, Arenas made sure to work his way around a defender with a beautiful crossover before battling through another defender at the rim.
32%. He knows if they're going to win this series, they're not going to do it from the three-point line. They have to continue to go.
This was no easy task either, guys. Going through a few guys on one drive to the cup while falling down to the ground at an awkward angle. But hey, Arenas has made a living off of doing some incredible things in the NBA. Watch a few of these highlights from a ridiculous game against the Los Angeles Lakers.
He can get there, can he? Gilbert Arenas on the attack. Scoring machine. Gilbert Arenas comes into the game averaging. And
they couldn't do anything to slow him down that night. Arenas dropped 60 points to help take his Washington Wizards to a victory after a massive end to the game. Among those 60 big ones, he was able to drop a combined 31 of those points during the fourth quarter and overtime. Not to mention the fact that Kobe Bryant was his primary defender for a pretty good chunk of that game. Gilbert also came up big time in a few other games throughout his career. Just take a look at how he rose up in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference playoffs to sink the Chicago Bulls.
Gilbert, fade away. Dagger! Oh, Wizards win! Arenas hits the shot at the buzzer.
I would hate to have been a Bulls fan on this night. They go from thinking they could seal a huge win for them in this series and instead lost all the momentum after Gilbert hit a tough mid-ranger over multiple defenders. But hey, if you thought that game winner was crazy, just wait until you see this next one against the Milwaukee Bucks. Arenas didn't panic when he was coming up the court. He knew his team badly needed a bucket or else they'd be heading into overtime. He saw that there were just a few seconds left ticking down and he rose up from deep behind the three-point line to drain it and send Washington home with a major victory as time expired. Milwaukee must have felt their hearts sink watching this crazy jumper fall through the net.
Checks the clock. Gilbert for the win.
Along with his heartbreaking final second shots, Arenas also knew how to give the fans exactly what they wanted. During the prime of his career, everybody knew that he had athleticism for days. He gave the world a bit of a reminder of this during the NBA All-Star Game when the game was at intermission. Check this out.
In
impersonators stuffing and Gilbert Arenas.
The guy literally ran out of the court alongside some people who were dressed up as Elvis and did a between-the-legs dunk off a trampoline to get the crowd super hyped during the break. I gotta tell you, I never thought that was a sentence I'd be saying in one of these videos, but hey, here we are. I also didn't expect to see Arenas sink the Utah Jazz like he did here as the clock expired in this game. The shot was so flawless that even he knew it was going in before it actually swished through.
With 5, down to 4, takes a glance with 3 to 2 for the winner.
You can always tell the good players from the great players by watching a clip like this. Arenas never hesitated on the shot he wanted to take, nor did he rush it and shoot before the buzzer expired. He simply remained patient in the face of a defender and then waited until the perfect moment to get a great shot off, while at the same time giving his opponents no opportunity to respond. Sadly, not all of his buzzer beaters went through when it comes to the officials. Watch as Arenas catches an inbounds pass right before halftime and quickly launches it the length of the court for one of the deepest triples you'll ever see.
So the Nets able to cut it to 7 at the horn. Oh, it went in!
Now, the shot was done on time, but it got waved off because the shot bounced up so high that it hit the shot clock behind the net and bounced back in. When it comes to the official rule book, this does in fact count as the ball going out of bounds, therefore the shot was correctly waved off, but still, that fact that he put that in was just insane. Okay guys, so far in this one, I feel like we haven't talked enough about Arenas and his passing ability. This time, he works alongside John Wall in the fast break to help his Washington squad walk away from this possession with 2 points.
He'll go to the line, give the assist to Arenas. He knows that he has John trailing him, and John is getting ready to explode.
Gilbert could have easily rose up to try and take the contested layup himself, but he just knew that Wall was going to be flying down the court behind him, so that little flip behind the head goes right into Wall's hands and results in points. Now, when it comes to Arenas, sometimes we get to see passing like that, and other times we get to see some next-level scoring. Gilbert made sure to put the Miami Heat on notice following this 2005 game. Take a look at some of the highlights.
For this month at Washington's expense, Arenas gets the Wizards on the scoreboard. He had double-digit points in a final period. Arenas rings up. Gary Payton defending Arenas, who drives in.
Out of the lane, and you can see his strength right there. He took a shot, put it up with the left off the wrong foot.
Arenas got so hot that he dropped 17 points in the first quarter, and he used that momentum to give him an excellent night. The incredible guard finished the day with a whopping 47 points to keep Washington in the game. Believe me, the Wizards would have been blown out of the water without his performance on this night. Arenas just knows how to win. It's as simple as that. And winning means that you're an unselfish ball player, which is something that helped him when he was playing alongside Dwight Howard in this particular pick and roll in the playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks.
2 of these first 3 games. We'll see if that continues. Arenas puts it over Howard.
Despite 2 defenders wrapping themselves around Arenas, he knew that he could just flip it up and over them to a soaring Howard, who slammed it down in response to that beautiful feed. And speaking of beautiful feeds, watch this next one to Howard once again.
To keep the momentum going.
Arenas behind the back twice, and he finds Howard.
Gilbert was working his way down the court when he hits an insane behind-the-back dribble move before hitting another behind-the-back move to get the ball into Howard's hands. Not only was that first one breathtaking, but everybody got so caught up with it that they couldn't even react to the second one that actually resulted in a dish. My dude had the entire stadium stunned there. But that wasn't the only time. In this game with the Golden State Warriors, Arenas found himself with a steal and led the fast break down the court. Now watch how it all played out after that. That bounce pass went right to his intended target, and it resulted in a monstrous slam late in the ballgame. Talk about a momentum-shifting play for both Arenas and his squad. Jason Richardson was flying down the court to dunk this with so much speed that after he dunked it, he flew back into his teammate's face while holding onto the rim still. That really shows just how big of a play that was.